Welcome, bienvenido to Manning Elementary and the school year of 2020-2021. My name is Lindsay Petersack, and I am here to walk you through our back to school information to help get you and your family started on the right track as we had a summer roller coaster ride of planning for what the fall would look like. We are excited over the past couple of days. Our teachers, our staff, and our families have helped to put together the most concrete plans in order to have a great start to a very unique school year. The purpose of tonight is to walk through a couple of really essential items that will help support families in the first couple days and weeks as we start remote learning. I also wanted to talk through some new features from either the district or the school that will help us to communicate and help us work together during this time. I'm going to share my screen. We have a couple of features to walk through together, and the agenda is listed here. My name is Ms. Petersack. I'm the principal of Manning. This is going to be my 4th year at Manning, my 8th year in the district, and 16th year in education. I love what I do. I love this community, and I think that education is a passion just not of mine, but a passion that I see lots of our community invested in. So it helps make my job, even in the hard times, really easy to do because I just believe in what education can provide for students. Ms. Moliere, you won't see her tonight, but she is our assistant principal. She works with both Manning and Miller. She's the director of dual language and the coordinator of English language learner services. So she often will be a co-pilot with myself, helping to translate when needed, and also provide her expertise in a lot of different areas. So our agenda for tonight, we tried to keep it simple and streamlined, but there's a lot of information that we are very aware that is overloaded and overwhelming at times. So we're going to try to make it as streamlined as possible. We're going to review the master schedule of what it looks like for all grade levels. Teachers will thoroughly go through with their students what their schedule looks like on Monday, but we wanted to provide one more overview for everyone. We'll talk through attendance. We have learning platforms. Some are new to some families and some are review, and all have been upgraded. So we'll talk briefly through those, and we've provided some tutorials that will be linked in the newsletter that gets sent with this video. And we're going to spend a lot of time talking about communication. We know that it's important that we have partnerships in this specific model of learning, since it's something new for all of us. Everyone feels like a first-year teacher this year, first-year administrator. It is absolutely important that we remain a team and work together and communicate in ways that help us to move forward. So we're going to review first the master schedule. This is something that was shared out in the remote learning plan for the district. I'm going to review grades 2 through 5, mono and dual, very quickly. It's important to note that whether it's a monolingual schedule or a dual language schedule, we really tried to work together as teams. It's really important that we don't see ourselves as separate, but we're coming together. But we also need to take into account that dual language has a component of Spanish language acquisition that needs to be embedded into their curriculum and part of the day. So starting off, something huge, and I think I'm going to just umbrella say this so I don't have to keep going back to it, is that the spring of the last school year was not what we would call remote or distance learning in best practice. We were thrown into a situation of crisis in our community and in our country and in our world. It's important to note that we had to make decisions within moments. And even though we have still had to make decisions with limited time over the summer as planning and our plans had to shift, it is important to know that we have invested all that we have learned from the spring into the schedule and the practices moving into the fall. So I don't want to keep moving back to the comparison of what was before. It's important to note that we are building consistency, we are building rigor, and we are aligning to what a typical traditional school day looks like as best as possible. So one piece that we felt was really important is that all students come together with their homeroom teacher in a morning meeting. The purpose of this morning meeting is going to be connecting the community of learners, but also being able to talk through the expectations of the day. It's really important for parents and students alike to be able to walk through an agenda just like we would do at the start of a school day. The links for those morning meetings will typically be housed in Otis. Second grade has a little bit of a caveat to all of this because they will be using Seesaw as well. The Zoom links for these meetings are going to be consistent. So for week one, what we've created is a document that will be attached going out to families so that for the first couple days as we get used to all of these new schedules and features in comparison to before, it'll be easy for all families to access. Once you find out your homeroom teacher, then, because this is a pre-recorded session, you'll be able to find the link easily here. After morning meetings, depending on the grade level, we move through synchronous, which means live activities, and asynchronous activities, which means those are recorded or independent, depending on how the grade level and the teacher have set up that portion of the learning. In the yellow boxes are reading specialists. We have an amazing trio that you can learn more about in, through our virtual school. They are partnered up with each grade level for a bucket of time each day. The purpose of their role is to provide intervention to students or groups of students based on data that we're using from the spring and where we left off last year. In addition to that, we meet weekly to go through students and their progress with their learning in real time. And if we need to make adjustments, students need to be added to that group. That's something that we discuss on a weekly basis. For second and third grades, we have English language arts in the morning, and then we have math in the afternoon. It is broken up between live and not live activities. And it's important to note that those live activities, although we think of Zoom as being the most common live activity, synchronous learning means that the teacher is in the moment with those students. Does not always necessarily mean Zoom, even though I think that is going to be one of the easiest ways to connect. We have lots of collaborative tools like Google Docs, Jamboard, and just the platform of Otis provides real-time reflection, feedback, and opportunities for students to collaborate. The Google suite of slides and spreadsheets and documents also provides students to be interacting and collaborating together as well. So once again, teachers will talk through what those blocks of time look like. For fourth and fifth grade, it looks a little bit different from last year, and Manning and Miller alike for monolingual. There are 2 teachers that a student will have, and each teacher will teach 2 subjects. So they will have block 1 in the morning and block 2 in the afternoon, and between those content areas, they will be dividing the time and the activities with that instruction. Specials of library, art for this quarter and potentially this semester, depending on how our remote / transition into hybrid if possible works. And then PE are the 3 specials that Manning will have for this time. They are recorded sessions for a couple of reasons. Number 1, they're working with 4 grade levels and they're providing lessons every day. But number 2, we wanted to use that bucket of time. There are students that might receive additional services in their day, and this provides them the opportunity to participate in those services without missing out live time with their peers. So one of the main reasons that we had these be recorded is it gives flexibility to families. We also understand that we are creating a very rigorous schedule, very different than the spring, and a very different platform. And we are going to need to build the stamina of our students. Just like coming back from the summer of any typical school year, by the end of the first couple days of school, kids, you can sometimes see wanting to take a nap as they leave the school doors, and sometimes at the end of the day, putting their head down because they're so tired. In the same format, we're going to have to build the stamina of this schedule. And at the end of each day, we have a closing meeting. We thought it was great, especially in the beginning of the year, to come together, be able to answer any questions that kids may have. End the day on a positive note. We want to build in a lot of our social emotional learning strategies that we have through our program, and also through our partnership with Mindful Practices, and be able to maybe set up reminders for tomorrow or the next day as well. So that is the Monday, Tuesday, Thursday schedule for monolingual. For dual language, their schedule does mirror their grade level peers. A couple of differences to note is the balance between Spanish and English in the ELA block of the day for all grade levels. So it's highlighted, and your teachers will go over it of which days are in English and which days are in Spanish. Math, science, and social studies will be taught in English due to the model and the guidelines that have been provided for remote learning. Another thing to note, just as a reminder for 4th and 5th grade, dual language, we have 2 amazing teachers that you will be meeting, and we're excited to have them on board. They will be teaching all subjects, very typical to what dual language has done in the past. Definitely open to collaboration and some of the departmentalization we do with our monolingual, but not for right now. So I just wanted to highlight those differences, but very similar structure. Wednesday for all students is a schedule that we built in for 2 reasons. Number one, it provides some of the same structure of the other days of the week, and really looking at the morning, but it also provides flexibility, to build the stamina of students in this very rigorous schedule that's going to be purely remote for the first 6 weeks of school. But it also provides flexibility that teachers can really provide one-on-one and small group follow-up to make sure that our students are learning and make sure that our families feel supported. So on Wednesdays, we still start with that morning meeting. We have our synchronous time in the morning, and grade levels will reach out to talk about what that day will look like. We wanted grade levels to have opportunities to come together across their homerooms, including dual, and also think about how can we look at our standards and provide authentic learning opportunities of project-based learning digitally. So this day provides that. In the afternoon, it's a flexible period for both students and teachers. In the first couple of weeks, teachers are going to be reaching out to make sure that they can connect with all families, troubleshoot any problems. But it's also a time that teachers can really stop, pause, and reflect on the teaching of the first 2 days, and then plan instruction and reteach or potentially enrich with small groups of students, and then move into the second part of the week. Of all of these plans that we have, we also know that we need to be flexible. So it's important to understand that as we live this, we have school improvement teams that help look at feedback that we'll be asking from all of our teachers, our students, and our parents. We do want to live in our schedule for a couple of weeks because there's going to be things that we need to work out, but know that we are constantly listening and responding as needed. So that's a review of our master schedule. Just so that you understand, and we'll talk a little bit more about it when we come to our learning platforms, but our specials and morning announcements are going to be daily posted in Otis. Morning announcements come from my office, and they are done in a digital format. And then specials will be posted in lessons. We'll talk about that in a little bit. All lessons for students, whether it be their homeroom activities or their specials, are posted by 8 a.m. and then we begin our live session at 8:30. Attendance for the day. So this is something very different than we had in the spring, but it's going to be very typical of what you are used to as a parent. If your child is not going to be participating in the live format of the day, it's important that you report that to the office. It's also important to report it to teachers as well, because we will be taking traditional attendance, and if a student is marked absent, we will be following up. We understand during this time that there's going to be a need for a lot of flexibility. This is where it is really important to reach out and communicate with the teacher, so that if a student cannot attend live, a teacher can provide options so that a student can get caught up and find the information, the recording, and the lessons that they missed. So it will look a little bit for each grade level, and they will communicate out what the best way to follow up with any missed work is. We have quite a few options that each grade level is putting together. We'll go over the attendance line when we look at the website in a little bit. Learning platforms. So we took a deep dive into Otis, which is benefiting us now because we will be using Otis as our main platform for all grade levels. Students will be getting their login information digitally. And as they go into the Zoom meeting on day one, it'll be a time for teachers, just as we teach our routines of getting acclimated to the building, they're going to be getting acclimated to their learning platforms. I will show you the quick link to Otis in a little bit. The features are very similar to the spring with some really cool upgrades. We have some tutorials if you short and more intense, I will say. So if you want to watch those will be linked into this newsletter that goes out. And then Seesaw is an application and platform that we have used in the past. It really is unique for younger learners, and we found that a lot of students needed to navigate in a more kid-friendly way. Seesaw allows that. The tricky part for second grade, because Seesaw is a K-1 platform in the district, is that it is definitely appropriate for second graders, but then we do need to make that transition as third through fifth, use solely Otis as the platform. So families will be walked through how to use both, but we found it really important to be responsive to streamlining, which parents said, but also understanding the learner side, and Seesaw has some opportunities that make it very easy and visual for our younger learners. Tech support is awesome in our district, not just because I know them and they're my colleagues, but that the type of support that they provide is the type of support all of our staff provides. It's immediate, and oftentimes they can respond very quickly. I will show you the tech support line, both in English and Spanish, and that is one of the biggest places to go if a Chromebook is broken, your charger is not working, you are struggling to work some of the features of the Chromebook in general. So I will show you that in a little bit as we go through effective communication. So the first line of defense as we get started on Monday is reaching out to your classroom teachers. If your student has an IEP, then you are going to reach out to a case manager, and it's really important that as you're communicating with the classroom teacher to include that case manager. And then if a student has a 504, that will be something that's managed by myself, but also the classroom teacher as well. Ms. Moliere and myself are the two administrators in the building, and we are available for lots of questions that families have. I think it's important that you always start with your classroom teacher, but we are absolutely here to help as well. The next part, which I'm excited to reveal because it's up and running, is our website. We've redesigned it. We've made it really user-friendly. I appreciate the feedback we got from parents who helped provide some information about how to make this accessible for everyone. So if you bookmark the website onto your browser, this is Manning's homepage. I'm just going to take you to the district home really quickly. The district homepage, right at the top banner, has the tech line, first line of defense, in both English and Spanish. They have easy drop-down menus, which can take you to the schools. We're going to go to Manning's. As you come into our page, we have the calendar at the top, which is synced live. So knowing that that's a feature that is available to you. The remote learning plan, so anything that's hovered over any of the pictures on the website, that means it's a link that you can go to. This is the remote learning plan for the district. And look how easy this is. So we have our Otis platform listed right in here. Clever is our single sign-on for all students. And then our reporting absence is right at your fingertips. Our staff list, so in looking, if you would like to communicate with a staff member in the district, an easy search tool. I'm going to go back because I find one list to be a little bit easier and more traditional, but that's, if you know who you're looking for, you can type in their name. But we also, under the About Us, have a staff directory listed by their name and their role, and it links to their email. I will just give, for right now, the best way to reach teachers is going to be by email and not phone, as we have, in a very short time, shifted our schools to be grade level centers for this school year. So I would default to reaching out, and if you click on the link, so if I wanted to reach out to Miss Billy, I can click on there and it'll populate an email, but it also has it listed there as well. Something else that's important to note is that if you scroll down below, we have quick links that our parent leadership team is going to help populate, but some easy clickable links for families. And then we have our tech hotline again. Our announcements will be scrolling through on a regular basis. This is linked to our calendar. So Manning Events is our school calendar, very easy to read, and it shows the upcoming week. If you scroll to the top calendar, you're going to get a bigger monthly view. And then the newsletters that I put out will also be housed here. I currently share them out directly to all families and will continue to do that, but they will also be housed in here so that they're easy to go back to, and we have an archive section. So the website, great upgrade. Hopefully people find it much more user-friendly. The weekly newsletter, I just want to review, and I pulled up a sample of one of the last ones. Is in Spanish and in English. I use Google Translate because there's often a lot of information, and I don't want to necessarily, if I have a last minute change, reach out in the middle of the night to Sandy for translation, so we will use Google Translate. I can tell people are using it already because those are how many visitors have been for this newsletter. But we try to keep the information as streamlined as possible, but there's a lot in the beginning of the year. All these links, so if you ever see a bar, they're typically gray, those are clickable links that open into a new screen. So if you look at the new family orientation, that actually links into all of the recordings we had for the live event, the PowerPoint, and the information we shared. So we try to make everything really user-friendly and connected, knowing that things can often get missed. Those come out weekly every Sunday by 5 p.m. is my promise, but if I can get them out earlier and have all the information there, we will send them to addresses that are listed in Skyward. So if you're not getting something and you feel like you should be getting it, please double check with our main office. And they can absolutely make sure your addresses are correct in Skyward. Recorded events, that's something big we're doing right now because we know live is not an option for everyone, especially if you have multiple kids, and we're all doing live events. So similar to this, when I post this on YouTube, I just wanted to show you one of the features that I've learned about that is really helpful for parents. This video is longer than 5 minutes. So if we have a longer video, like our tutorial was earlier this week, then this becomes an agenda in the description below the video. So it's just scrolling down here. And these links of times are when you can learn about this topic. Oftentimes when it's a live event, there's a lot of great questions that happen in the midst of a topic. So sometimes it is nice to sit in the car and listen to it all. We also know that there's a lot of things going on, and so if you need to cut right to the chase, you can do that. The last thing that I wanted to give a shout out to is our amazing PTO for Manning and Miller is collaborating just like Tim Weiler and myself are. And so they've created grade level Facebook groups to help parents navigate this time. They have moderators for each group to help support. But the purpose of that Facebook group is to really ask grade level specific questions, knowing that maybe the answers can be found within the group versus sending emails to teachers, which in the beginning of the year is quite overwhelming for us. I definitely feel as though I've missed some emails because there's so much information coming in. So I appreciate and applaud the proactive nature of our parents and those groups for really wanting to help us all and find positive ways in order to support each other. So that's all for tonight. Oh, one more thing, it's the best piece. I want to walk you through something I've been designing all summer, and teachers have helped collaborate through the Institute days. And that is, since we can't have a typical back to school night, curriculum night, those kind of really coming together opportunities, we've created a virtual school. And this will be sent out. I'm finishing it up right now, trying to make sure all the links work. The virtual school I'm scanning through real quick is that. It is online, introducing ourselves and our teams to you. It's also interactive, which is really cool. So when this gets shared with you, if you look at my mouse, and this is best viewable on a computer. So when you have time to go through with your kids and your family, and it's accessible and live for you to view over the course of the weekend and the course of the next couple of weeks, you can click on links and learn more about us. So as I scroll over the screen, when I have something that pops up with a hand, it is a clickable link that's going to take me somewhere. So the first one is an easy one. It's going to take you to Who's Who in a very digital format in Manning Elementary. So new tabs pop up. If I scroll through and there is a slide over here, you can meet Miss Moliere. You can meet myself. Clicking on this link takes you to a quick introduction. And so you can watch a warm welcome from our staff members. We've also, if you look at their names, we've included links to their bios, a great way to get to know our teachers and our staff on a more personal level. So they all have a unique bio to share. And then there might be other clickable items in here from me in the next day or so. But if you look at the Reading Specialist, they have a YouTube channel. As I hover over it, I can click on it. They have a welcome video as well. Each of them has information on their Bitmoji to share. And I think I might pull up 5th grade for this one. So our 5th grade team is here. They each have individual information. And then if you click on their grade level, they have a welcome back video for you too. So we hope that you enjoy this virtual back to school night. It was something that was very time consuming, but what a creative way that teachers and myself have been able to hopefully have students and families get to know a new Manning staff. We have gained amazing new team members from outside of the district and from Miller, so we're so excited for the year ahead. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out. I use a hashtag that started in the spring and it will carry through because I truly believe that, not just in our building, but I do believe that in our community, is the hashtag of We Got This, because I do think as a team, we are able to conquer anything and really do it well. So with that, I will leave you in hopes that you can peruse our virtual school, get excited about the first day, and see some familiar faces and meet some new faces. So welcome back to Manning, welcome to Manning, and we hope to see you soon in the virtual world, but also in person as well. Have a great night, and thank you for your time.